Hey guys, what's up? This is Vishy here. I'm going to be telling you about the working of LiDAR in the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. The LiDAR isn't a new technology. It is an old technology that has gained popularity these days because of the introduction of this technology, the LiDAR, in Apple products such as the iPad and the Apple iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. If you haven't heard about LiDAR, you would have definitely heard the word radar. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging. And LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. These are very two similar technologies. In LiDAR, they use light to detect the distances and to get a 3D map of the place you're around. And in radar, you use a different kind of wave, which is a radio wave instead of the light. You would have definitely seen the application of the LiDAR technology without actually knowing about it. The LiDAR is a technology that helps the cop measure the speed of a vehicle in a speed gun. Is LiDAR something new? LiDAR is not something new. The technology is old, but the application of LiDAR, the usage of LiDAR, the way we see LiDAR in the smartphones, that is something new. If you like the video till now, do subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. In the 1960s, LiDAR or the laser beam mounted aeroplanes were used, but this was not as popular as it is now. In the 1980s, after the introduction of GPS, the LiDAR was used extensively for calculating the geospatial arrangement of different objects, for calculating and making a 3D map of an area for aerial surveillance. It was mounted on an aeroplane, and the GPS signals and the LiDAR signals were combined to get a highly efficient 3D model of the Earth's surface. This is where it gained popularity. What does the LiDAR do? The LiDAR, which is mounted on a phone or an aeroplane, sends out the signals, which are the infrared light or the laser beams, in a pulsatile fashion. This is a way of shining light which is normal. It isn't a pulsatile way, but this is a pulsatile fashion of shining the light. By shining the light this way, the LiDAR picks up the information, and this information, along with the information picked up by the camera. For example, the camera is present in the phone or the cameras are present in the aeroplanes. These two are analyzed together to get a highly efficient 3D model of the Earth's surface or the object in case of the smartphone. In what way is the LiDAR that is present on an iPhone 12 Pro or a 12 Pro Max different from the one used in the aeroplanes? The one used in the iPhone 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max is a miniature version of the one used in the aeroplane. The one in the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max helps increase the efficiency of the image taken. It also increases the AR capabilities that can be performed by this particular smartphone. In the Apple website, it says that there is 6 times faster autofocus because of the LiDAR technology. And now there is also night mode possible with the secondary camera or the wide angle camera because of LiDAR. How is the LiDAR technology that's used in the Apple smartphone, which is the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max, different from the Android manufacturers such as the Oppo, Samsung and Moto, which use a technology known as the TOF or the time of flight? There are two main differences. The LiDAR is more efficient and the LiDAR is more costly in comparison to the TOF. TOF refers to using speed of light to determine distance. It measures time it takes for light to leave a device, bounce off an object and again return to the device, which is divided by 2. The speed of light multiplied by the time of flight gives the distance of the object. Just like all squares are rectangles and not all rectangles are squares, similarly, all LiDARs is a type of TOF, but not all TOFs is a LiDAR. The functional difference between a LiDAR and other forms of TOF is that LiDAR uses pulsed lasers or pulsed infrared light to build a point cloud, which is then used to construct a 3D map or image. The TOF creates only depth maps and not 3D maps. Apple's LiDAR is using multiple points of reference, which increases the efficiency multifold in comparison to the Android's TOF. The TOF just uses a blanket of IR light. The IR light is provided by the IR LEDs. In the beginning of this video, I told you saying there is a very similar technology to LiDAR which is known as radar. Why not use radar instead of LiDAR in the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max? This is because in a shorter range, the LiDAR is more efficient and it captures details better in comparison to the radar. But when it comes to longer distances, the radar proves to be a winner. Hence, we can't use a radar instead of a LiDAR in an iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. The future of self-driving cars and autonomous vehicles is coming very close. It's very near. The future is very near. The LiDAR is like the eye of the autonomous vehicle. It provides a 3D map to the car so that it can navigate through the busy roads. LiDAR also has its application in agriculture. In agriculture, the 3D map of the place can be made. The slopes can be calculated. The place which receives a higher amount of sunlight, the place which receives higher amount of rainfall, the place that needs more amount of water, all can be calculated to increase the efficiency of the crops. A river survey can be done using LiDAR. You can find the floodplains by calculating the topography of the river. The LiDAR can penetrate inside the river or the water and it can get you a 3D map of the bottommost layer or the land under the water. LiDAR helps detect pollution particles such as carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and methane, which helps create a pollution density map, which can be used to plan the city better. LiDAR is also used by archaeologists to find if there is something buried under the vegetation or under the ground, under so many meters of soil. It can penetrate and tell you and give you an exact 3D image of what is inside. It can also aid in building construction by providing a 3D layout of the building which is already there. Having talked about radar and LiDAR, let me also tell you about SONAR. SONAR is sound navigation and ranging. It can be called the eye of the submarine. There are two types of sonar. One is an active sonar and second type is a passive sonar. In the passive sonar, no waves are sent by the boat or the submarine, whereas it receives whatever waves are sent out. These sound waves can be sent by marine wildlife or by other ships and submarines. Whereas in active form, the ship or the submarine itself sends out waves and it can hit and bounce back the object. And when it comes back, the distance between the object and the submarine can be calculated. That's it guys. If you like the video, do subscribe. Nixapian. This is Vicky signing off.